Hello, my name's Kristina Stephenson and I've written and illustrated this book. Why are there so many books about bears? And it's a good question, isn't it? And quite a tricky one. So when I wrote it, I thought I might need some help from some brilliant minds through history. But I decided that those brilliant minds through history in my book were actually going to be animals. Let me introduce you to some of them. The first one is a hero of mine. This is a chap called William Shakespeare. You've probably heard of him. He wrote plays and poems. He wrote all sorts of things. He lived a long time ago. And he wrote all sorts of incredible plays that you'll probably study when you get a bit older at school. He wrote tragedies and romances and comedies. He even had a character in one of his plays whose name was Bottom. I promise you. Anyway, William Shakespeare, as I said, was a hero of mine. And in my story, I decided to turn him into an animal. So William Shakespeare, what animal would I turn him into? William Shakespeare, can you guess? William Shakespeare became William Snakespeare. Did you get it? Shakespeare, Snakespeare? You'll get the hang of this. The next brilliant mind through history is this chap here. Funny picture of him, but he was actually incredibly serious, incredibly brilliant scientist. And his name is Albert Einstein. And he was a German-born theoretical physicist. Came up with all sorts of incredible theories and incredible ideas to do with science. He had other ideas as well. One of his ideas was that imagination is more important than knowledge, because imagination goes on and on and on and on. And I think that's true. I think that's a clever idea. So anyway, scientist Albert Einstein. But in my book, he has to be an animal. So what animal could I turn Albert Einstein into? Let me see. Albert Einstein becomes Albert Swinestein. Swine is another name for pig. We've got another scientist coming up, a chap called Isaac Newton, and he discovered gravity, amongst other things. Gravity, apple falling on head, very, very clever scientist. Remember, he has to be turned into an animal. So Isaac Newton, what animal would Isaac Newton be turned into? Newton? Can you guess? Isaac Newton? Have you got it? Oh my gosh, if I can get this out. Isaac Newton is a newt. Well done. We've got a writer next. Brilliant writer from history called Mary Shelley. She wrote all sorts of books. Probably her most famous book that you've heard of is called Frankenstein. And she wrote Frankenstein when she was still a teenager, and apparently she dreamt the story and she started writing it the very next day. So there we are, Mary Shelley, very famous, brilliant writer, and you'll probably read her books when you're a bit older. But we've got to turn her into an animal, so have a think. Mary Shelley, what sort of animal has a shell? What would I turn Mary Shelley into? Mary Shelley, in my book, became a snail. Mary Shelley. Now then, we've got 3 prickly animals coming up next. When you go to university, if you want to go to university, anyone can go to university, you get things called degrees, and the highest degree that you get is something called a PhD, a P-H-D. Now, in the grown-up human world, a PhD is a doctor of philosophy, but in my world, the animal world, a PhD or a P-H-D stands for something else. The P, the P, stands for porcupine. The H, or the H, stands for hedgehog. And the D, or the DS, stands for dragons with spines. So 3 very prickly animals, the PhDs. There's one more animal in my book. You can see him here. It's Trevor the rat. I call him Clever Trevor. And he's got his own portrait here. Clever Trevor. And if you hop over to YouTube and have a look at the video of me reading the story, Why Are There So Many Books About Bears?, you will find out why he's called Clever Trevor.